Hello, and welcome. Chelsea 2, Burnley 0, and it's another clean sheet. It's another clean sheet for Chelsea in a season that is very quickly turning into one that is quite hard to predict. Quite hard to predict indeed. Are we here? Hello? We live? Hang on, one sec. There we go. Let's start again, shall we? Hello and welcome to the live review for Chelsea versus Burnley. Chelsea get all 3 points with a 2-0 victory. And albeit it's only Burnley, as people will say, it is another clean sheet for Chelsea. I think the third in a row now for Chelsea in the Premier League alone. And honestly, it kind of gives you hope. It kind of gives you. I'm not necessarily expecting us to get a clean sheet against Arsenal. We've obviously got a much bigger game to worry about in Barcelona coming to Stamford Bridge. But if we're talking Premier League primarily, we are obviously in a good position. We're in a good place. If you look at our last results, 1-0 against Tottenham, 3-0 against Wolves, 2-0 against Burnley. It is a really good run of form coming into this. Obviously, drawing to Karabag ahead of the Barcelona game is another story. But for Arsenal, from what I've been told, well, obviously they're without Gabriel, they're without Saka tomorrow, I think. Unsure if I've seen any confirmation on that, but that's what someone has just said. It is really looking good for us going into this game against Arsenal on the weekend. For this one, though, it started a little shaky. It seemed as though there was a lot of rust, a lot of cobwebs since the international break started to now. But the Chelsea players, the Chelsea side, Maresca's men, found a way. That first goal, Jamie Gittins, who was subject to a lot of criticism once again in the chats, came out with a fantastic assist. Wasn't a fantastic game from him, but I would say a good assist, a fantastic assist, really, and an even better finish from Pedro Neto, back post. Enzo Fernandez doing well to draw away the defender who knew that Pedro Neto was there coming in through the back, but obviously got distracted by Enzo Fernandez, drew his man away and allowed Pedro Neto to get in at that back post and head it in. Neto himself came close to scoring a second, hitting the post, but then cleared away for a corner ball before anyone could kind of come in and pick up the pieces. But it was ultimately a team goal, a very, very well worked team goal at that. Starting with Sanchez, I think to Chalobah potentially, and then Chalobah to Gusto to Neto to Guiu, and then Guiu to Enzo Fernandez, who came charging into the box, puts it away, stops us having to bring on. I didn't think we had to bring on Esteval, to be completely honest with you. I do think it would have been. I wasn't expecting him to get injured or anything, but you never know. It didn't seem like we needed to make that substitution. Maybe warm him up for the game against Barcelona. But I thought that if you're going to bring on Esteval, bring him on with like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. Not in the additional time. What's the point of that? But thankfully, Enzo Fernandez gets the goal and stops that from happening. Overall, a good performance, a really well-worked performance from the team in the end. I do think that, you know, is it a game that we can really sort of judge going into Barcelona as to whether or not we're going to be able to get a draw, get a win, even after struggling against Karabag a few weeks ago? We can only play the games that are in front of us. Do you know what I mean? So beating Tottenham, big result there, obviously, but losing to Sunderland, barely getting past Wolves in the Carabao Cup, then beating Tottenham, of course, was the start of a good run, drawing against Karabag, and then Wolves, who are shit, Burnley, who are shit. These are great results, but at the same time, and this isn't me talking down on the result at all, but it's good. It's good that we are finally getting convincing results, good clean sheet results against these sides who are, for lack of a better term, absolutely terrible this season. Burnley now losing 3 in a row in the Premier League. Wolves, they haven't won in God knows, or they haven't won this season. So, you know, it was a good result against them. We beat Forest and we beat West Ham. So the current bottom 4 that we've played so far this season, we have gotten, 9 points in those games. Beaten Burnley, beaten West Ham, beaten Forest, beaten Wolves. If you'd have asked me if that would be the case last season or the season before that or the season before that, I'd say chances are we're probably going to draw or lose at least 1 or 2 of those games. So one of the big things that I've taken from this game is that we are, even when we don't look overly convincing, we've come away with all 3 points, not just a draw, not just a win, but a clean sheet at the same time. Don't get it twisted. Burnley had their chances. They had a couple of chances, to say the least, where they could have absolutely been in. Fleming had a fantastic chance, ball over the top, chest it down through past Badiashile, I think it was, and then should have really at least got it on target, but blazed it over the bar. It is what it is. It's one of those games that we've managed to get all 3 points, despite not necessarily looking our absolute best. I feel like I've said this a few times this season, which, again, going back on what I was saying, isn't something I've been able to say too much in the past few seasons, is that we haven't been the best, but we've managed to get a win. That's the thing. That's the difference. That's the key marker that we have seen here that shows improvement, where else we would have necessarily probably dropped points, or at least, at the very least, conceded where it wasn't necessarily needed. Looking at the table at the moment, Arsenal with a game in hand over us, 3 points over us as well. We've scored 3 goals more, but have conceded 6 more than the leaders at the moment. Manchester City play Newcastle. I probably will be doing a live watch along for that later on today, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We then got Sunderland, who at the moment, even if they win, will not overtake us. So we are, as it stands, solidified in the top 3, even after this match weekend. Because Sunderland, 19 points. The most they can get is 22. You know, not even the same. You know, Tottenham could get 21. So with a win here today, we have solidified a top 3 place at the end of this match weekend. And Arsenal have Tottenham. Man City have Newcastle. It's you know, looking good. It is looking good. It will be interesting to see how we fare against Arsenal. You know, other than that, though, we have games that we should really be winning in the build-up to the new year. I just want to quickly go through those fixtures. Premier League, our build-up to the new year. Arsenal, the biggest, probably the most difficult game this season that we will have faced on paper. Leeds away, Bournemouth away, Everton at home, Newcastle away, Aston Villa at home, and then Bournemouth again. We play them twice in 1 month. And that is that in the build-up. So obviously, as we know, Bournemouth currently in the top 10. They started well. They're a bit iffy at the moment. 2 losses on, back-to-back for them, and just 2 wins in their last 5. Leeds are being Leeds. They're 16th. They've won 1 in their last 5, and that came against West Ham. So that tells you everything you need to know there. Should be winning that. Everton, 13th at the moment. They've won 2 of their last 5, winning against Fulham and against Crystal Palace, losing to Manchester City and Tottenham and drawing against Sunderland. So I think that's going to be a tricky game, to say the least. It is at home. I think if it was at their new stadium, I forget what it's called. Something about Dick in there, I think. Then, that could be one that's a bit tricky. Newcastle, again, really, really poor start from them. They've won 2 of their last 5, 3 losses in their last 5 as well. Then we've got Villa and Bournemouth. Villa, top 6 at the moment. They've been really good start from them. 5 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. That one will be a really hard one to sort of predict. And then, of course, Bournemouth once again to see out the year. I think we should be finishing top 3 based on those fixtures. I think we should be finishing top 3 at the end of the 2025 calendar year. That said, with games in the Champions League in and amongst that, and obviously a game against Cardiff in the Carabao Cup, who knows? Who knows? With that said, please do like the video, subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.